Hello friends, today we are going to discuss another behavioral design pattern, the command. We will learn this by implementing a real-time use case where we will create this shop book website. I'm assuming that there is a sale on this single head first design pattern book, and here we have the feature to add the book to either shopping cart or to the future wish list. Most importantly, while invoking these operations, we will store all our actions using command pattern so that we can later undo our actions. This is a perfect real-time example to understand and solve this problem using this pattern. I will be using ASP.NET Core MVC application for this, but if you are not aware of web application development, do not worry. I will write just few lines of code to achieve this, and I will ensure that you are able to follow along. By end of this video, you will be completely comfortable in identifying and analyzing the practical use cases for the command pattern. And please be ready to bring the skills that you will learn into your own projects. So with this, let's get started. Before going into the code, let's try to understand how this pattern works and when to use this pattern through a diagram. But first thing first, the definition. So the definition says encapsulate a request as an object, thereby letting you parameterize clients with different request, queue or log request, and support undoable operations. Let's understand this through a diagram. So we have a client. Client is nothing but the one who wants to execute some actions or operations. It creates commands. Commands are again some kind of actions, like it could be save data to database or read data from database or undo my actions or redo. I mean anything that you want your application to do when you click a button or take some actions. Now the command has to execute the functionality, right? And where do we write those functionalities? Of course in some classes. And as per this pattern, we call it as receiver. But how does client calls the operations in these receivers is a question. It definitely does not call straight like this. Otherwise, we would not have been talking about a pattern here, right? I will tell you why it does not call it like this in a bit, but before that, let's see how it calls using this pattern. So, what we do here, when the client creates the command is first stored in a class called invoker, maybe in a list or a stack. It means invoker will have one or many commands, and then invoker invokes the command, which ultimately calls the receiver, which has the actual functionality that the client wants to invoke. Now note that invoker just knows to execute the given command and nothing else. It is a black box with a method execute and list of commands. So if I have to tell you the heart of the command pattern, then this would be this part. Of course, only this part doesn't make sense, but if you understand this, then you can say that you understood the command pattern. So now let's translate this diagram to our shopping cart requirement. This command will change to our concrete commands that will be perhaps add books to wishlist command and add books to add command. And this invoker is someone who manages our commands, right? So we can call it as command manager, which will basically hold our commands. That is this add to wishlist command and add to cart command. And our receiver will be perhaps book shopping cart class, which will have our real operations for adding books to shopping cart and to wish list. This is basically how the command pattern works. Let's do a short recap. So we have an invoker which stores 0 to many commands, and the invoker invokes the commands which then calls the required operations in the receiver. And who initiates these calls? The client. Remember that invoker stores the commands so that it can use those commands later for undo, redo or some other purpose. We will see that in code in just a bit. I hope you have some high level idea on how this pattern works. If not, Stay with me for some time and everything will be clear once you see the code implementation. Let's start our initial implementation and we'll come back to the slide where I'll explain when should you use this pattern and what benefit do you get by doing this. So let's jump into our Visual Studio. So I'm in my Visual Studio. Let's create an ASP.NET Core MVC application. Let's name it as command. So our default ASP.NET Core application is ready. First of all, I would like to create my data access class and the business class. However, I'll not be using a database. I will just add some data in a dictionary and treat this as my database. Let me create two folders, data access and business. In the interest of time, let me create two classes and come back. So my two classes are ready, book shopping cart and bookstore. Let's go through these classes. So this is our model, book with a book ID and a name. I have an interface I store with four methods. Increase stock, which will increase the total quantity of given book by 1. Decrease stock will reduce the count by 1. Get book will get the book detail for the given book ID and get total stock will get the total quantity of the given book. Implemented iStore to concrete bookstore class. This class has a dictionary to store the book details. It's like a database for us. It has key and a tuple of book and the stock as quantity for that book. Loading few default books here. Rest are just implementation of these methods where we basically deal with this stock quantity. Increase stock, decrease stock, get total stock and finally get book. This class just acts as a repository for our book stock. Let's look into book shopping cart class. So here we have again an interface iCart containing 6 methods. Again, these methods basically manipulates these two dictionaries. We have methods like increase and decrease shopping cart item, similarly increase or decrease wishlist item, and get shopping cart count and wishlist count. Down here we have the implementation of this interface. I will not go in much detail on this class. Codes are self-explanatory. If you need these codes, please do let me know in comment. I will upload it in GitHub and provide you the link. And I hope both the classes are simple and easy to understand. Now let's go ahead and update our view and write our action methods in the controller. Again, let me write few CSS and HTML and come back. So here we have few CSS. Please do let me know if you need this project in the comment section. I'll upload it in GitHub and share it with you. So down here few HTMLs. I'm using here Bootstrap row system to create our layout. So this is our first action method, undo. Using an undo image. Let me add the image. So this is our undo image and design pattern image. H1 tag for displaying total cart item and for wishlist item. Then down here again two action methods for adding item to cart and moving item to wishlist. Let me change my site name to online bookstore and its color to red. So our view is done. Now let me add these action methods in our controller. So we have three action methods: add to cart. Of course, we'll be adding code here to execute our commands. Next is move to wishlist and undo. Let's put a breakpoint and see if the method is working fine from the UI. Okay, so looks fine. So we are done with our basic implementation. Now it's the time to implement our command pattern. Let's create a folder called command. Let's add our iCommand interface. So it has three methods: execute, which will execute our command; can execute, it will decide if the command can be executed or not; and then undo method. Now let's create our concrete commands. Let's name it as add to shopping cart command. So here I am injecting the book, our store class, and the shopping cart class. Can execute method just calls the get total stock method of our bookstore class and checks if the stock is greater than 0 and returns true or false accordingly. Then comes the execute method. Now this command is for adding the book to shopping cart. If user executes this command by clicking our add to cart button, right? So it reduces the given book quantity from the bookstore and increases the quantity in shopping cart. Then we have this undo action. Again, if we have to undo, then we increase the stock by 1 and decrease the shopping cart quantity. So add to shopping cart command looks fine. Let's create our add to wishlist command. Let's implement iCommand here. Here as well we are injecting the bookstore and shopping cart class. Condition for accessing the command. Execute method decreases from the bookstore data store and increases our wishlist cart. Similarly, undo has been implemented. So now we are done with our two commands implementation. Now how do we call these commands? Remember the command manager. Command manager will store the command and invokes the command which acts upon our receiver, right? So let's create our command manager class. So this is our command manager class. It has an interface iCommand manager with two methods: invoke, which will invoke the given command, and an undo method to undo user's action. We have a stack here to store our commands. We are using stack so that we can push and pop our commands. So it first checks if the given command can be executed. If yes, then pushes the command to our stack and then executes the command. And in our undo method, it pops the last executed command and calls undo on it. That's it. I hope up to now you have followed it well. Let's do a short recap what we have done till now. So we have our bookstore class, which is the repository for our books. Then we have our business logics in our book shopping cart class, which basically adds or remove items from our shopping cart and wishlist dictionary. Then comes our main classes of this pattern. We have created an iCommand interface, implemented this to our main commands, add to shopping cart command and add to wishlist command, and finally created our invoker class the command manager, which executes our command and also stores it in a stack so that we can later invoke our undo functionality. Great. Now, before going further with our last part of implementations, let's go back to our slide and answer this prominent question. When to use this pattern and what benefit do we get by implementing this? So this pattern encapsulates our operations into an object, right? Let's try to understand when should we use this pattern. We implement this pattern when we want to package our operations like add to cart or add to wishlist into a self-contained object. So what do we get by encapsulating the actions into an object? This way, the commands can be transferred, shared, or even stored in memory or database, as we have done it in our command manager. Have you seen? We are storing the commands in memory in a stack. So what benefit we get by doing this? Because we can store all our commands, we can now queue our operations. And since we are tracking and storing all the actions performed by the user, we can definitely provide undo redo functionalities as we have provided here. And as all design pattern provides loose coupling, this is not an exception. The client and the receiver are completely loosely coupled. In a sense, you can change at runtime how the command should be executed. Now let's go back and complete our application by implementing our action methods in controller. So I'm injecting iStore, iCart and iCommand Manager here. This services has been registered in startup class. In my index section, I am calling a private method display cart detail. It just calls our shopping cart and gets the shopping cart count and wishlist count and adds it to our view bag. Then add to cart action invokes our add to shopping cart command and calls display method. Similarly, move to wishlist action calls our add to wishlist command and calls display cart detail. With this, let's run our application and see if our functionality is working fine. So our site is up. Let's add to cart. You can see here cart item increases. Let me add one more. Now let me go ahead and move the item to wishlist. You can see here wishlist count also increases. Now let's see if my undo action is working. My last action was move to wishlist. If I click undo, the wishlist item should go back to 0. See, it goes back to 0. Perfect. Let me click again undo. Now undo happens for my add to cart command. Looks like my command pattern implementation is working perfectly. So that's all for today. If you like the content, do subscribe the channel for all my upcoming videos on C# and other technologies. Thanks.